Evie Comply, simplifying your charge point installations.
And just like that, another week, another podcast. It's the 10th of September, and this week we're speaking with a guest. So I'm currently joined with Nick Tucker, who is in fact co-owner of Evie Wales and Evie Tower. Hey, Nick.
How's things? How are you?
Yeah, really, really good. Thank you. As ever, thank you for spending your time and coming on the podcast this week. We appreciate it.
No, that's fantastic. I'd be glad to voice my opinion on a few things.
Yeah, now I know that you were down at the Fully Charged Outside show. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It was just what we needed, and it was nice to put some face to names, and it's been a long 18 months with COVID, and yeah, we've been working with a few companies for nearly 2 years now and not been able to put a face to a name, so yeah, really fantastic.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Now, would you suggest for anyone listening to kind of attend these events? Has it been lucrative for you personally?
Yes, it was quite, I won't say it was a gamble, but yeah, it was quite a financial commitment, but yeah, coming back, we've had fantastic reviews, fantastic feedback, and yeah, we'll certainly be going again. We are going to attend the Fully Charged Amsterdam show, so we've committed to that, and it's all steam ahead, ready for that now.
Fabulous stuff. So let's start by talking a little bit about, because obviously you've got two big things going on, and they're both brilliant. But let's talk firstly, because of course this week we have been celebrating World EV Day, and it's all about kind of innovative ideas and how we're moving and pressing forward with that. Now, you actually are co-owner of Evie Wales. So what's going on in Wales? What's happening in the EV industry? Let us know.
Yeah, so we're taking over Wales one install at a time. Yeah, we've been contracting throughout Wales for around about 2 years now. We've seen the opportunity in the market. It wasn't really much competition, still is, but we're all ears. And yeah, we'd like to invite more installers into Wales really to get the job done. But yeah, we're a 17-man team now. It's growing pretty much weekly, which is quite scary. The demand is growing week by week. As an electrician, my background was 10 years of electrical contracting, and nothing's really taken my interest and my passion like this has. I mean, I'm really passionate about the renewables and what we've got to do to get to that net zero.
Absolutely. So following on from that, you do the EV charge points with Evie Wales, but you also have some battery storage solutions, don't you?
Yes, that's it. So as a company, we install battery, solar and EV. It goes hand in hand, doesn't it? The EV, the PV and the battery storage. So it's a perfect sell for us, and it's well received by the customers.
I think it's great to kind of group everything together, especially at the minute whilst things are still a little unknown to most people that are having kind of batteries fitted and charge points fitted, and they're not really sure what's going on, so I suppose to kind of be a one-stop shop's great, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And again, it's quite a unique selling point for us at the moment. It's just it's finding the time to dedicate to each sector really. It's the technology moves so fast, it's quite staggering, but like I said, it's exciting. There's always something new to learn. The guys enjoy it as well. I think that's a big part of the EV industry, whereas if we were just doing EV, it can become quite monotonous for the guys that are just doing day in day out doing the same thing. So it's nice to have that break up for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, and obviously working and knowing and coming from an electrical background, do you think the 2030 target is realistic? Do you think we can do it?
I would like to say yes, but I think it's going to take a lot more sort of collaboration between installers as such. I think to get that united goal of we need to deliver this as installers, that the more partnerships that can be forged, and I think it's doable. The numbers say that it's picking up month on month, so there's no reason. It's just having the right workforce and getting the guys trained, get them on the road, and start getting these charges in.
Definitely. I mean, in the podcast last week, I did a government announcement, which is basically them saying that they're crying out now for electricians to learn about kind of EV installations and how to move forward. So obviously this is something you do. It's a transition that presumably you did from just being a spark to this. So what would you say to anyone who's listening to the podcast who's maybe thinking about kind of moving into the EV sector?
Yeah, as a company, I think you'd be crazy not to. The work's there, it's an exciting industry. Everyone's more than helpful. Everyone I've spoken to and directed us in the right direction over the past 2 years, everyone's been fantastic, to be fair. We train guys, we bring guys in that are qualified, and it takes a bit of time, but I think my personal opinion, you could 6 to 8 weeks of an intense training, you'd come up against most challenges and be happy to overcome them.
So obviously that's Evie Wales and what's going on there. So let's talk about Evie Tower, because I love this. I want to know the story about this, because quite often with people in this sector, they create things because it's something that's personally annoyed them themselves, or it's something that they've found is needed, which I think is the best way to invent something. Let me and the listeners know about the kind of journey and how Evie Tower began, and of course what it is.
Yeah, so I'll brief overview of Evie Tower. It's kind of a universal one-stop shop for all pedestal mounting. We also dive into the crash barriers, protection, branding, but the tower itself is a one tower fits all. So again, we were struggling to get manufactured towers. There was huge time delays. They weren't great quality. In my opinion, they were very much overpriced. And again, so it kind of that solution really where it was getting, like you said, annoying me to a degree of how hard they were to get hold of. So I thought, you know what, why not sort of make these ourselves? So I got a business partner, Mark, who comes from a manufacturing background. We kind of got our heads together, and Evie Tower was born probably coming up about a year ago now. So it's it's moving strength to strength. We pride ourselves on the quality of it. It's future-proofed, whereas it's a modular design. So in 5 years' time, you change the charger, you're not changing the pole, you're not digging out the ground, or you just simply change the top plate, which is a £30 piece on a, sometimes a £300 product. The quality really speaks for itself.
Do you find that it's being well adopted? Are people loving the idea, Nick?
Yes, like I said, the fully charged show was really good to get the engineers to be able to touch it, feel it, and share my passion of how it makes the engineer's life as easy as possible. It's from an engineer's perspective, the guys on the ground installing them, it comes with all the the fixings. It's a time saver. But yeah, I've got every confidence in it that it'll go from strength to strength. The phone hasn't stopped since we've got back, so we're scrambling now to make some more.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Everyone's gone to the show and then it's worked brilliantly, but I think everyone's so busy now trying to get through all the calls and stuff. And
I know.
So obviously with the stand that you've created, you also did touch upon crash barriers. Now, this is for basically people that might accidentally reverse into an EV charge point because they're expensive. That could cause a lot of damage. So, yeah,
they are. It's funny you say that. We were on site yesterday, and poor Rolex charger had been put to Rolex heaven, shall we say. It was flat on the ground. So yeah, it does happen. As much as you'd like to think it doesn't, we get often not a phone call saying someone's bumped into it. It's you break them, the water gets in. It's just a recipe for disaster, really. And we offer custom branding where our barriers can be customized with these interchangeable inserts. Really well received by installers, companies, where they're just that little extra touch to give an opportunity for branding, really.
Presumably you could put you could put advertising around the crash barrier, is that right?
Yeah, that's it. So advertising, company logos, it's completely, you say it, we can do it. It's all cut on a CNC laser machine, so we will take in vector files, or we can design them in-house with our guys who do all the CAD for us, and they can pretty much knock up anything. It's quite impressive.
And do you know what, Nick, just out of interest, this is just me being nosy now, if someone does reverse into an EV charge point, what happens? Like, does that go through insurance?
Yeah, that's it. It's insurance is going to be a big part of it. I know there's companies springing up that are offering to insure the charge points.
Not everybody can be a great driver, I suppose.
No, that's it. It's and again, the EV industry hasn't taken off yet. So you think of the footfall across these chargers is at a minimal right now to what it will be in 5-10 years. So the risk factor is only going to double, triple, quadruple as time goes on.
No, definitely. So we've celebrated World EV Day this week. That was on Thursday, so yesterday. Where do you think the future is?
I think it's the sky's the limit, really. The money that's being poured in from an investment, the government behind it. Yeah, it really is sort of limitless in my opinion. The technology and the chargers, I've only been doing it sort of coming on 3 years, 2-3 years, and what we used to think was the all singing, all dancing product to have is kind of ready for the bin, unfortunately now. It is staggering, really, where the industry can go. And like I said, the technology is the key behind it all, I believe, and making sure the DNOs know what's going on, and so we can do microgrid management and the load sharing. Really, just trying to utilize the green energy to be providing the energy for the chargers rather than a coal-powered power station powering EVs. Just seems kind of backwards when you think about it. So I'd like to see the renewable side more directed into the EV delivery. That's my I'd love to see that come through. It's in the pipeline, and I'm sure there's teams of guys behind it all working to make these changes happen.
Well, absolutely, that's the thing with this industry. People are working all the time, and things are constantly changing, aren't they, really?
Yeah, that's it. It's we were up with Hypervolt in manufacturing plants a couple of weeks back, and to see the testing, the innovation, and the passion behind all of those guys there, it really is. You can see why these companies come through the ranks so quickly. That it's the guys behind the brand that are dedicated and committed, and yeah, there's no such thing as a 9 to 5 in the EV industry, unfortunately.
No, I think everyone listening to this podcast will know it's definitely not a 9 to 5. There is no tuck your chair in, shut your laptop and leave for the day.
No, that's it. So yeah, to let anybody thinking of getting into EV, make sure you're ready for the long hours. That's all. But no, I find it's really rewarding. The customer satisfaction level is high. It's you've put the charger in, they got their brand new car on the drive. It's quite a good talking point, and everyone leaves with smiles. So yeah, it's a great industry. I'm really glad that we've kind of focused our business acumen towards it.
Yeah, well, we're really glad that you're in it, Nick, because we need things like Evie Tower, and Wales needs EV Wales. So really,
yes,
we're glad that you're doing what you're doing. Is there anything else that you'd like to let our listeners know about, Nick, before we go?
We're kind of setting up a small syndicate between a few of us from the Fully Charged show that we're going to get together now and try and meet every month, and maybe just see where that can take us, and hopefully sort of an EV union or will be born out of it long term. But so anybody thinking of it who's in it already, I'm all ears I'm really keen for us to get together as installers, rather than there's enough work to go around and there's no reason we can't all help out each other.
Although it kind of is a dog eat dog, obviously, as all businesses, it's also a strange sector because people are being encouraged to work together and collaborate because it's needed.
It is, yeah, most certainly. Yeah, it's exciting times. It really is.
That's it then, Nick. Basically, join the EV industry. You're forever learning and never sleeping.
Yes, I don't know why you've been not getting into it.
I love that. So Nick Zucker, thank you so much, co-owner of EV Wales and Evie Tower. You can go onto both websites. I will place the links within the podcast information, so if you're listening now and you want to go and have a look there, you can. Thank you so much, Nick, for having a chat with me today. We wish you luck with all that you're doing. I don't think you need it, but it's just the polite thing to do.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I'm sure we'll be back in touch before long, and keep you guys up to date with all of our developments. Thanks for having me, and it's been a good one.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.